Good day. Good day, everybody. Welcome to my channel. I'm Ngerikan. Please hit that subscribe button before we even start. And of course, we are here for Euclidean Geometric. If you're struggling with Euclidean Geometric, we have problems with Euclidean Geometric, this is the right channel. So, today we're going to be talking about parallel lines. And hopefully you'll understand what we're going to do. But first thing, I want us to take a step back to grade 9 because this is where the basics are, and it will help us to answer the questions adequately. So let us start. What are parallel lines? Parallel lines are the lines that will never meet, and usually they don't have the same length. They're not equal in length. They don't have the same length. Let me put it that way. But those lines will never meet, and they have the same distance apart. This is what I mean. Parallel lines will never meet. These lines are going that direction. They will never meet because they have the same distance apart. The same distance apart, I'm talking about this distance. From here to here, it will be the same. No matter how long it gets, though the distance will be the same. So, how do we see that lines are parallel in geometric? You see by this thing, I don't know what's the name of those things, but these things represent parallel lines. If you see those things, always know that those lines are parallel. I'd like us to talk about properties of parallel lines, but I think, yeah, let's do it. I thought maybe we would start by angles on a straight line, but it's fine. Properties of parallel lines. Properties of parallel lines. My advice to you guys is to have a minute book for only geometric, for only these classes or these lessons. A minute book where you are going to take note of these lessons from this channel. It will help you. Euclidean Geometric, it needs full respect that it deserves. Don't mix geometric with probability and all those stuffs, because Euclidean Geometric can be tough if you do not respect it. So, but we're making it easy, man. It won't be that difficult for you guys. So my advice to you is to have a minute book or a 2-quire if it's fine with you, 2-quire for only this chapter. Okay, let's proceed. Properties of parallel lines. We have corresponding angles, we have co-interior, and we have alternate angles. First one, you will see it by the F shape. That is the first one. We call it corresponding. Okay, let me do like this. The angle here and the angle here, they are always the same or equal. They are equal. This angle is always equal to this one. Always. Only if these lines are parallel. If you are solving a problem, question paper, and then maybe they gave you a circle, and inside the circle there are parallel lines. You have to look at these things that I am doing right now. So this one is a corresponding angles. Corresponding angles. This thing means an angle If you see this thing, know this thing represent an angle. And when you make this S, it means the angles, they are 2 now. Corresponding angles are always equal. So how do we know that they are corresponding? By the F shape. And then number 2, we have alternate angles. Sometimes it can look like an N or Z, and usually we say it by the Z shape. Alternate angles. Alternate angles. This angle over here is equal to this angle. What is the reason? They are the alternate angles. They are always equal. Always equal. Number 3, we have co-interior. So I want you to listen to me very attentively. So in co-interior, these 2 angles, they are not equal, but they add up to 180. If this angle over here is 90, this angle over here will be what? Will be 90 in order to add up to 180. They are not, take a note of that, they are not equal. They are co-interior. They are not equal. I'm repeating, they are not equal. They add up to 180. This angle plus this angle is equals to 180 degrees. And only if these lines are parallel. Same applies to this one. If these lines are parallel. Only. If you don't see, if they give you a problem, you have to solve that problem, and you do not see this. I told you I don't know the name. If you don't know this thing represents the parallel lines. So if you don't see them, do not apply these rules, these corresponding order, and they are only the properties of parallel lines. Let me give you an example. So here I'm giving you an example, or I'm showing you what I mean. Let's start by corresponding angles. And corresponding angles, they are angles that, let me say, you can see them by looking at the, if you see the F shape, let me put it that way. If you see the F shape, don't want to confuse you guys. Let me just say, you see this F shape? These are the corresponding angles, which means if here this angles was 45 degrees, here it was going to be 45 degree as well. If you are to prove the reason, maybe is 45, you are going to say this angle is equals to this angle, and the reason you are going to say corresponding angles. That's our reason. Number 2, we have alternate angles. Alternate angles. Those one we can see it by the Z shape. The Z shape. It can be like this. It can be like this. Anyway, as long as these lines are parallel. That is the first thing that you must look at. parallel lines. The Z shape, this angle over here is equals to this angle over here. So if this angle over here was 30 degrees, this was going to be 30 degrees as well. And then what is the reason of his alternate angles? Alternate angles. And then the last one is co-interior. Co-interior is the one that add up to 1/8. It's a U shape. It can be like this. It can be like this. This one, this angle over here, plus this angle is equals to 1/8. Always co-interior, they add up to 1/8. They are not equal. Take a note of that. Back to grade 9, angles on a straight line. Here we're talking about angles that add up to 180 degrees. Angles on a straight line. Angles on a straight line add up to 180 degrees. So sorry about that. I'll start by explaining what is an angle, because sometimes we're not struggling because we don't know. We're struggling because sometimes we don't know the basics. So what is an angle? If you find a line like this, when we say an angle, when we mean this space from the surface here, let's say here's the surface. From the surface, let's say the surface of the earth, from the surface to where this thing is, it's like it's opening like this. Where it stops, it's our angle. So I don't really know the definition of an angle, because English, you know English, guys. But that is an angle. This space from here to here is an angle. And then this is a line. I hope you can see that. Again, if I have the other line over here, from here to here, it is also an angle. And how do we measure an angle? By a protractor. Is it a protractor? I don't know. We measure it by a protractor. I don't know. I don't exactly know the, English is not easy. But this is an angle. That is an angle. So when we say angles on a straight line add up to 1/8, we mean that this angle from here to here, they add up to 180, which means this angle over here plus this angle plus this angle, when I add them, they must give me 180 all the times. That is what we mean. When they add up, they must give me 180. And then, because this is the straight line here on top, here also, this is a straight line. So if we have the other angles here, these angles also add up to 180 because they are also on a straight line, which gives us the answer that these all angles around a point, they are equal to 360. When I add all of them around this point, all the angles around the point, they should give me 360 because 180 from here at the top plus the 180 here is equal to 360. That is where we say a revolution. The cycle, the revolution is 360. But today I'm not going to talk about revolution, but I'm going to talk about the angles on a straight line. This is a grade 9 work or grade 8 work, if I'm not mistaken. We're just taking a step back so that we can answer the questions adequately. Let's say here is C, C1, C2, C3, C4. C1 plus C2 plus C3 plus C4. When I add them, they must give me 180. So, if we were to say C3 is 45 degrees, is an example. Then it's a 45 degrees, and here maybe we say it's 30 degrees. Example, guys. Let's say 10. And this calculate C2. What you're going to do, you're going to say 180 plus 30. No. Sorry about that. 10 plus 45 plus 30 is equals to, what am I doing now? C2 plus 10 degrees plus 45 degrees plus 30 degrees is all equals to 180. When I add up these all angles, C2 plus 10 degrees plus 45 plus 30 equals 180. You are going to say 30 plus 45 plus 10. Need to make sure. I always use my calculator to make sure. So it's 85. 30 plus 45 plus 10 is 85. In order to avoid mistakes, use your calculator, guys. Sometimes we don't fail because of not knowing, but because of the wrong answers. So 180 minus 85 is equals to 95 degrees. So yes, 95. It's not impossible though. He can be 85 in real, when we're on our senses, but it was an example. When we add, they must give me 180. These angles, they must give me 180, all of them. So to verify your answer, after doing this, you must verify your answer. You must say 10 plus 95 plus 45 plus 30. They should give you 180 degrees. I know some of you might be wondering, this is not Euclidean geometric, where are the circles? No, we are studying by the basics. You have to know the basics before we go to the circles, before we go to the big problems now. But they're not a problem to us. We got this. I just want you to understand this first in order to answer the questions that we are going to do on our next videos. Again, we have a parallel line, not a parallel line, a perpendicular line perpendicular lines, when two lines like this form 90 degrees, this thing here represents 90 degrees. When two lines form 90 degrees, we say that two lines are perpendicular to each other. And the symbol of perpendicular, this is the symbol of perpendicular. This is the symbol of perpendicular. Let's say here is A, here is C, here is B, and here is D. When I say A, B, D is equals to 90 degrees. Now I want you to understand this thing. When I was at high school, people used to ask, what does this thing means? When I say ABD, I mean ABD. And then this one at the center is the one I'm talking about. The one at the center is the one I'm talking about. And I must put this thing to show that I'm talking about this one. And with the angle that we are talking about, you must always show, and it must always be at the middle. Always. If you just say A, B, D, it's wrong. This means a triangle. Maybe you're trying to tell us what triangle ABD. But if you say ABD and put this thing, oh, now we can know that you are talking about this angle here, because this angle doesn't have a number. They didn't put a 1 to call it B1, so we have to do it like this. If you were to tell us about this angle, you are going to say A, B, C, and then put this thing on top of B. So, because we're talking about this one, we'll say ABD, ABD, B at the center, and this thing to show that you are talking about this angle. Let me show you. ABD, talking about this angle. It's close to 90 degrees. And then our reason is because AB is perpendicular to CD. Why are we saying ABD is close to 90 degrees? Because AB is perpendicular to CD. If two lines are perpendicular, form 90 degrees, they are perpendicular. Even though a line is like this, and here it's 90 degrees. Maybe let's say here it's E, here is G, here is H, here is F. Let's just say F. Then here it's O. This point is O. We're going to say, because we are talking about this angle now, EOH, like this, EOH, this one is equals to 90 degrees. What is the reason? Why are we saying EOH is equals to 90 degrees? Because EF is perpendicular to GH. This is the G, guys. EF is perpendicular to GH. This is grade 9 work. This one. Please do not undermine these things, because the reason why many people are struggling with Euclidean geometric is because they come to grade 11 without knowing these basics. So when they get to grade 11, those basics, they need to apply them, and now they do not know them because they took them for granted. So please understand the basic first in order to answer the question educatedly, please, and have a book for the notes. So I think we are done for this video. Let's meet for the next video. Please, 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 please go and practice these things. Go and practice them.